Okay, welcome to the March 16th meeting of the Cloud Provider Azure Subproject. This is a meeting in the Kubernetes organization and will abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct. So everybody be nice to each other. We are recording and this will be posted to the YouTube channel after we're done. I have dropped a link to the meeting notes in the chat, and feel free to add agenda items. I dropped a few agenda items on there myself. Please also add yourself to the attendees. Try to track how many people are attending which times of this meeting. I think the first item is going to be about the meeting time. At least I added that agenda item. What I wanted to propose is that this be the standard meeting time bi-weekly, since the other meeting time, which was the first Monday of every month, early in the morning Pacific time or very late at night in China, has been getting little or no attendance. So what I was going to propose is that I'll send out an email to the mailing list proposing that we consolidate just on one time and do it bi-weekly instead of just twice a month. It's much less confusing on the calendar, and having a consistent time will at least allow us to communicate between those in the Asia Pacific area and North America. The downside of that is that there'll be no time that's friendly to anybody who wants to participate in Europe. Anybody have thoughts on that subject? Alternative proposals? Or does everybody just agree that's the best thing for us to proceed and do?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take silence as acceptance. Feel free, of course, I'll put it on the Slack and on the email. Feel free, of course, if you just don't want to speak up now, to voice your views there and proceed from there. Thank you. Okay. The next item I wanted to talk about was the when and how we can address credential provider extraction. And I put the link to the KEP in the meeting notes. As far as I'm aware, we have not made any efforts in this area yet as a SIG. Is that an accurate assessment?
I think the entry updates need to be done first, and there's a PR out there. I think Anish is probably linking to it, which did not make the deadline for 118, if you recall. So I think that needs to be merged first before we can work on the credential provider for Azure.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need that PR to get merged first and at least get released, so then we could get ready for our own Azure provider. So it's a new plugin.
So this is the intermediate step. Okay, so are all cloud providers blocked by this same thing, or is it just Azure?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, all providers. So
okay.
Actually for the external credential providers, they actually two things. The one we just referred as the Kubernetes credential provider, and they also another one called Kubernetes credential provider. So then we don't have mentioned some days ago. So we will also need that.
That's right. Yeah, I saw Wenong, I think, started asking about that.
Yeah, that's a different one. We should probably track it here, I guess.
Yes, let's add it to our project board if we didn't already.
Yeah, the issue is actually created in container compute upstream, so we probably have to create a parallel one here.
Yeah, we need one in the
Cloud
Kubernetes org.
Yeah, I'll create one and maybe someone can add it to the backlog.
Appreciate that. Unfortunately, I still oh, actually, I did figure out my permissions. I finally got the right permissions on the Kubernetes SIGs. That's where I was struggling. Is that anything that was in the Kubernetes SIGs backlog, I couldn't edit but that was just a mistake in the way my entry was in the repo, the members YAML. Okay. Is there anything else? I guess we're blocked on both of those for now, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
for
that means
118, for the next thing, so we should prepare our subproject for 118 release cycle. So I'm not sure whether AKS engine still supports 118. So I heard last time that AKS engine only accept any new feature request.
no, that's not. That's probably a miscommunication. The AKS engine continues to be the way in which we're testing all new Kubernetes releases.
Yeah, and that also includes the new features, right?
Yes, new Kubernetes features. The difference is if you wanted to add some new, feature to AKS engine, like only upgrading some things or some special kind of node pool, that would get deferred, and we would want to push that work into the Azure Provider for Cluster API. But until the Azure Provider for Cluster API is ready to handle all the end-to-end tests that we rely on AKS Engine for testing cloud provider and everything else, AKS Engine remains the place to do that. So we will continue to add all the new Kubernetes features and releases. Does that make more sense, Penkei?
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, so we'll need to enable the external cloud provider authentication for the credential provider and for kubectl, for kubelet and kubectl, and test those in AKS Engine.
Yep. And in terms of extraction, I think there's also the CSI stuff, right?
By CSI stuff, do you mean
CSI,
the Azure Disk, Azure File, and Blob Store
yeah,
work?
CSI migration, like from in-tree to outer-tree?
Yes, and I believe
Are we
Andy
on
is,
track for that?
I believe Andy has been working on that, but Andy is not here today.
Yeah, I think we are on track for that. So for CSI, the one main blocker is about the Windows. So I think when 118 releases, the CSI proxy for Windows would be ready. At least it would be alpha version then. So we could add that for both Windows and Linux in AKS engine.
Okay, so okay, sounds good. So it sounds like once 118 is released, we can start doing the CSI migration work.
Yeah, and also for cloud provider, there is a cloud node manager that is a daemon set running on each node. For Windows binary, for Windows we would also build a new binary. So we also need to integrate that in AKS engine. So one main thing is that Windows doesn't support host network. So the original daemon set on Linux doesn't work on Windows. So so I think we may need to run the binary directly on Windows nodes, just like other service on Windows, like Kubernetes or Kubernetes.
Yeah, that work I believe is being done as a part of the CSI proxy for Windows.
Yeah, it's same with CSI proxy, just a new service.
So it's a separate service that needs to be done
Yeah.
independent of the CSI proxy. What is this new service and what does it need to do? I'm sorry.
I mean, the CSI proxy is for Azure disk, and the binary for Cloud Node Manager is for cloud provider. So it's two different services.
I see.
Oh, you're talking about the Kubernetes components, like not just CSI. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that I believe is a net new work that is not currently on our backlog.
So this is specifically for Cloud Node Manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Craig is right. I think this is new.
Yeah, it is new. So I just added the Windows build yesterday. Let me share the pull request.
Okay, so we will need to build this upstream, right? I think we're building all the Windows binaries right now.
That's right. And one thing I want to make sure is that this, well, I need to ask, I guess, is this binary specific to running on Azure? I guess every cloud provider that's going to use the out of tree provider on Windows is going to need the same binary. Is that correct?
No, other provider doesn't need this because only us make the changes about the instance metadata service. So currently, all other providers only have one binary running Cloud Control Manager in master node. But on Azure, we're adding a new daemon side. Then daemon side run each Linux node. For Windows, we also need that, right?
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other like issues that you might be aware of that's going to block CSI migration?
Yes, I don't think so.
Okay, I guess we'll know when we start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To some degree, but I guess the next question is how should we divide this work up? And I guess it's probably time to start doing 119 prioritization.
So for CSI part, I think we can ask Andy or KK. I think KK is mainly working on the Windows part, so he is more familiar about this part.
We can definitely ask him, but depending on his own, since he's moving teams, I'm not sure what his availability looks like.
Yeah, so we need to at least check with him what work remaining to do. So then he should hand over the work to others, right?
Yeah.
Yep, good call out. Okay, if there are no other items, should we take a look at our backlog board and see how up to date it is? Groom it. Or are there other items people want to put on the agenda before we do that? Okay, I'll take that as, let's do it. So I will share. And you see the backlog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's see, it looks like we have one item in review. The AAD authentication should handle refresh token timeout. Is something anybody's working on right now? Doing a review? Is that something anybody could pick up?
Is this the one that Weinong was pinged us about?
Yes.
No,
That's right.
this is not the Windows item. So the ECL is still inside the kube control binary. So there's something we need to some bugs we need to fix. What we know is the external auth plugin for kube control.
Right, but I think there were some implementation details, maybe not this issue, but a different one where SIGAuth was saying they really don't want to keep maintaining Azure specific logic in tree.
Yeah.
And that's why they want to push us to do the external one fast.
Yeah.
But this is still regarding the internal one and specifically off to AAD. It looks like it's a minor bug fix. Is this something that we should take, or is this something that we should reject?
I think we should fix it because external providers still need some time.
Yeah, so I guess my question then is there can somebody do a review on this so we can let it proceed and merge?
Yeah.
Actually, is there a pull request on it?
Yeah, there is. I posted the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the pull request is already under review, I think. So it just needs some time to get approved.
Okay. So you're saying you've already looked at it, or somebody on our has? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's start looking at the in progress. We have the update to the docs, limiting configs and load balancer resource group. And
Yeah, this is already merged. I'm not sure why it's not moving to the downside automatically.
yeah,
So
I'll have to look at the automation in the board. Maybe there's something wrong.
yeah.
Come on. Okay, great. Extra Kubernetes dependencies. This is the tracking issue.
Yeah, this is a checking issue. So
Is this currently up to date? Credential provider.
and
Looks like we should add the kubectl credential provider to this list.
yeah, so let me update that later. So the credential provider here is only referred to kubelet. We need to add a kube control here.
Yep.
But is that blocking the outer tree stuff?
No, the kube control thing on the cloud provider.
Right, so should we put it here? Because I think this is the one that we use to make sure this is all the blocking issues for to move it out of tree, right?
Yep.
So maybe we shouldn't
Oh, you're saying
pollution.
because it doesn't block
It
it
doesn't.
out of tree? Okay.
Yeah.
Then it should be
I
a
mean,
separate,
that's my.
fair enough. So I guess the question are all the status on all of these links up to date? I believe so. We're still in progress. And then this one is done. Except that it's for Windows, it's not done. It's still dependent upon the new thing we're going to add.
I think that's the migration work. So 2, right?
Yep.
That includes Windows in there, I think.
So, Pangfei, does it make sense to add the Windows binary stuff to item 2 here in this tracking item?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else we should talk about on all the dependencies for getting out of tree?
One more thing. So for class API, do we need to do the same thing for it? I mean, the CSI driver, the external Azure cloud provider.
That's a good question. I think it's currently in tree only. So that should be in CapZ's backlog.
Absolutely.
But since I guess, production-wise, AKS engine is the one that everybody's using, or we're using that to gate this feature or this process.
So, Rita, do you want to take the action, or should I take the
Yeah,
action?
I think it's already in their backlog, but let me just
to validate that?
double, yeah, like 200% check.
Okay, great. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the CSI driver migration task. Oh, hold on. One of the last things I skipped about the prior one is that it's got milestone 118. Are all of these things actually going to be closed in 118? I don't think so. Zoom puts its control bar over my tabs. It's like that's open, that's open. So pink face, should I change the milestone on this guy to 119?
Yeah, let's move to 118. So the issues still not resolved.
Right. Okay, I'll do that after. Okay, so this is tracking for 119. It's assigned to Andy. Andy's not here.
Yeah, I think the migration have already been added to both Air disk and Air file CSI driver. But the migration features still not G, so it's still in beta, probably in 118.
Yep, at least that was the plan here.
Yes, CSI driver why milestone still 117?
117.
Okay, it's not tracked by 118.
Yeah, because it's out of tree. So they stopped tracking the out of tree issues in the Kubernetes release. There are just far too many. I'll mark it deferred to 119.
But it's not marked.
Okay, I'm going to leave that tab open to resolve that. But there's no action for us at this point. Support non-interactive service principal with Azure AD. So this is the Wainong one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the entry. So
The
the
entry.
definition is in the entry control.
But what you're adding, Pengfei, is the out of tree equivalent.
This is the entry field. I think we could also work fix it in the out of tree plugin.
Should that be added to the same task, or should we create a new issue for that?
For out of tree, we need a new issue.
Okay.
So it is in different scope.
Can you create that, or shall I do that?
Yeah, let me create that.
Okay, thank you. And then we have, we're out of time. I think what I'm going to do is 2 weeks from now, we'll have the meeting at the same time, so we'll have more attendance, and then we can continue the grooming and identify any additional items that we need to start tracking for 119. Does that sound reasonable to folks?
Yeah, so for scalability test, we actually have almost enabled it, but during some mistakes made by in the kube test, so some flags we were using are removed. So next time when the kube test image repushed, then I think those tests could be at least wrong. But we still need to verify them.
Okay, that sounds like progress. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great. Thank you, everybody. Sorry we didn't get through all of it. It's a short meeting, but instead of having this group monthly, we'll be every 2 weeks. If we need to schedule one more session for 119 planning, I will do that. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.